When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
Well, can we legally let people ride in the front loader, the bucket of a tractor? Of course, earlier this month in Quebec, we had this terrible tragedy where 4 people lost their lives, and a 38-year-old has been charged in that. Joining me on the line is Éric Lamontagne. He's a lawyer specializing in the defense of traffic offenses. Hi, Éric. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
So let's first off start about this story that happened in Notre Dame de Stanbridge, where these 4 people lost their lives, children that were in the front loader dying. The 38-year-old was charged with criminal negligence. Can you first off give me your thoughts on this case and where it ranks there when it comes to sort of offenses that come from operating a tractor or another moving vehicle?
Well, first of all, it's a very sad story, actually. It is something that people seem to be doing, mostly, I would say, down in campaign and stuff. People are just, taking a ride on the truck or being in the back van of a F-150 or stuff like this. That's something that people do, but they don't know the consequences. And, of course, with that accident that happened, we have actually an horror story from something that doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, it just showed, first of all, that it's a very dangerous way of doing things. You just cannot do this. There are some criminal consequences, of course, and highway safety code as well. So, of course, with that sad story, we see the criminal side, the criminal negligence. That's some very serious accusation. But for people who just do this but don't have consequences, they must know that even though if there's no horror story going on, we still have the highway safety code that you can receive a ticket from those guys, and that could be some tickets with lots of points and money as well.
So this is really important, Éric, and I'm happy you're talking about this. In this instance, you have the loss of life, and you've got these charges because of that. But we need to just talk about the fact that anyone putting kids or anyone deciding to ride in the front loader of a tractor, you bring up the truck, the F-150, where people are in the back of the truck, right? These things are, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, these are illegal, and there are consequences regardless of if someone dies or not.
Yes, of course. I mean, when we see the tragedy that happened, we see like the worst case of something that happens a lot. We got to be honest. We all saw this in the past. Somebody in the back of a truck, or just climbing on the tractor and stuff. So if we go beside the tragedy, anyone who does this without some serious consequences like this could still receive a ticket, and those tickets can be. People would be surprised if we take for example, if somebody just steps on what we call a semi-remorque or a remorque, those guys could have a fine between $60 and $100, which is not the worst one. But if we take that example exactly. The guy on the tractor and people who are letting people get on their pickup and the back of their pickup. Now that's more serious. We're looking at 12 points, and you get fined between $1,000 and $3,000. So wow. That's a lot.
12 points.
12 points, yes,
wow.
Exactly. And don't forget that if there are some fines that could be addressed to the person that are stepping on that truck, and the person who are letting people step on the truck. And most importantly, we also have an article that people need to know that if they do that, if they're the driver of that truck, they can receive an automatic 7-day suspension of the driver's license.
Wow.
So that's pretty serious.
We're with Éric Lamontagne. He's a lawyer that specializes in the defense of traffic offenses, and we're talking about some of the more unusual traffic offenses that happen particularly in rural communities. So, Éric, it's really important to know, right? We're talking about fines for the driver of the vehicle. We're also talking about fines for those passengers too, right? So, if you decide, let's say I have a driver's license, and I decide, oh yeah, I want to have some fun. I'm gonna go and sit in the back of the truck. I can also get that ticket, right? And can you tell me about, like, can I get demerit points even if I'm not driving, but I have a driver's license and I do something stupid in the back of a truck? Can I get demerit points?
Well, in that case, it's directed to the driver.
Okay.
Now, don't forget, there's another thing. There's Article 327 from the Highway Safety Code, which is 4 points and has a big fine. The minimum fine is $1,000, and that's how that, let's see how it goes. That article goes any rate of speed or any action that can endanger human life or safety is prohibited by law. So, of course, that's something that we see often in the Highway Safety Code, but that we could see often at the same time if some people are letting anybody just get in the back of their truck. So, the driver can have some serious consequences, because don't forget that if the driver just doesn't put the truck on drive, nothing's going to happen. So if the guy he decides to go for a ride knowing that there are people in the back, so that's why he's being attacked for his points as well.
Éric, let me ask you something. Does it matter where the offense takes place? And what I mean by that is, like, what type of road? Let's say it's a private road. It's in the country. There's no traffic on these roads. It's a private road that someone uses to ride their tractor or their ATV. Does that change anything legally wise?
Well, it all depends, because we need to see is it under criminal code or under the Highway Safety Code. If it's under the Highway Safety Code, criminal code, it applies everywhere. But if we go with the Highway Safety Code, that's what we call public roads.
Yes.
And we get some private roads with public access. Okay? That's, let me give you an example. If we go let's say we just go to Promenade Saint-Bruno. There's a place where the stationnement, where you can park your car, actually. That's what we call a private road with public access. So it's the same thing if we were talking about, let's say that you have, you have a land somewhere, and there's a place where you just can't get in that place. There's a chain saying it's private property. You guys can't go there. Everything that you have inside of there is supposed to be private, and at that point, the Highway Safety Code is not supposed to apply.
Gotcha.
But we just need to be careful about one thing. If we're on a path, and on that path there are some expectancies of you crossing other cars, in that case, you're under the Highway Safety Code.
So if there's like a reasonable expectation that you will pass by other cars, it comes down to that.
Exactly, because it becomes a private path with public access.
Gotcha. Hey, Éric, we're running out of time here, but one of the things that I mentioned earlier this hour as I was teasing our interview was just some of the other stuff that I've seen in, like, rural the country that people do. I've seen people drive while drinking a beer and that kind of stuff. From your experience, what are some of the other risky things that you see people do in the country where they feel, there's no police around here, and they try and get away with?
Well, of course, you said an important one, drinking. Sometimes we see some people, I don't want to point out any kind of region, but in the past, I went to skiing at some mountain resorts, and you would see some people, local people there having the beer between their legs still in 2019, 2018. So that's something when people are saying to themselves, well, I don't think I'll be crossing it. I won't be meeting any police officers here. They just take some bad decisions. But we see this, and we see as well some people who are just, any types of, just, like I said, people climbing in the back. We see it often as well. So, take into consideration one thing. You're responsible if you're putting people in danger. That's the main thing that you need to address. So, and putting people in danger, you have those very serious cases, but there are some little things that we do. So just be careful and make sure that you don't have any distractions, because distraction is an article that we have now in the Highway Safety Code that's very wide. So if there's something that's causing a distraction and you're responsible for it, you're going to get a fine.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have a sort of broad term like distraction. It puts a lot of bad behavior punishable.
Right.
Okay, Eric,
That's right.
listen, thanks so much. Very informative. I appreciate you coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
That's Éric Lamontagne, a lawyer who specializes in the defense of traffic offenses.